Greetings, friends and enemies. Welcome back to Art by Flam. Today we have, sort of fan art, but it's a fan character regardless. The first thing I want to touch on though is that I'm clearly using a different program. Normally when I do art, I start in Tool SAI and then move to Photoshop. But recently I was able to get Clip Studio Paint, formerly, what was it called? Manga Studio, that's what it used to be called, but now it's Clip Studio Paint. It's the same program apparently, but I managed to get Clip Studio Paint on sale, and I've been playing around with it. This isn't the first picture I've done in it. I've done a couple for some upcoming collabs, and I've done just one or two for personal things, so I got a fairly decent grasp on it, but of course it's still very new to me and I'm still learning it, but overall I'm really enjoying it. It takes a lot of things I love about Tool SAI and Photoshop and sort of merges them into one. I'm not completely comfortable with it yet, so you'll see me move to Photoshop at the end of the video to sort of do those finishing details in a program that I'm familiar with, and it makes me wonder if I will ever truly break the Photoshop habit, because I do love Photoshop. I just love actual art-focused programs and what they can do just a little bit more for some things. So I honestly feel like this piece deserved better. I was working on it, sort of taking my time, getting everything sketched, and I thought I'd have more than enough time to finish it this week before the video actually was supposed to go out. But I just got unexpectedly busy, so I had to take one night and crank all of it out and just get it done. So it's not like the best quality, it's not a bad quality picture, it's not like the worst thing I've ever drawn. The initial sketch was done with lots of love and care, just the line art and the shading and the coloring was all done kind of under a time crunch. But I like the outcome, it's just not as pristine as normally things would be. So here you can see me doing the line art, and now I'm going to talk a little bit about the characters in the picture. So recently I did a replay of Pokemon Y. Originally when the game came out I got Pokemon X, and then I ended up getting Y for free, and it just sort of sat on my 3DS forever. And so I finally decided to, you know what, I'm going to replay it, and it reminded me how much I loved X and Y, just how gorgeous games they were, and just, I love them. They're probably some of my favorites. Sun and Moon is definitely up there. I think Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald are my favorites, followed by Sun and Moon, followed by X and Y. Those are probably my favorite games. But when I replayed the game, I said, instead of just like naming the character after myself like I always do, I decided to sort of revamp an old Pokemon OC of mine and use her for that game. And so I redesigned her, renamed her, and her mother, which were two very old characters of mine. You could probably see some art of them on my DeviantArt. Their original names were Annette and Lily, and because of canonical Lily and other character I have named Lily, that I decided to change her name, and I wanted to station them in Kalos, so I sort of gave them French names. So her mother's name is now Amelie, and her name is Lisette. And Lisette is who I'm drawing here with her trusty Furfrou. Furfrou, that's it, right? Yeah. I always want to pronounce it Furfrau, and it's like, that's not it, it's Furfrou. Anyway, so I'm just drawing her in what she's in the game. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me draw her a couple of times. I'm also doing another playthrough of Pokemon Sun with her as the main character. But a little bit about her. Her mother, Amelie, which I'll probably do some art of her and sort of a comparison to show you what she used to look like and what she does now, was a contest. What is it called in the show? I can't remember. Anyway, she did a lot of contests based off my character in the original Ruby version, where I had won literally every contest with every form of that contest. So her mother did contests, and she was a fairy type trainer. Her father initially, because I had a thing for him, was Steven Stone. I'm debating on whether or not to keep that. Just, it's a fun fan character. Who cares about canonical shit? But I'm debating on whether or not to keep that. But anyway, who obviously specializes in steel type. But Lisette's thing is she doesn't have a type specialty like her parents. They're kind of all over the place. But her main Pokemon, and the Pokemon that she loves the absolute most, is her Furfrou, which she found when she was very young, and they just sort of grew up together. And so my initial concept for this piece was to have them sort of running together through Lumio City, but like I said, because of a time crunch, the background didn't get as much attention as it should have, so it's kind of generic. But here you can see her on the roller skates that were introduced in X and Y, which were really annoying. Like, I wish they could have been equipable like the bike was in the older games and other games, but just if you didn't want to use them, you had to use the directional pad, which didn't feel as intuitive as using the using the joystick, which would automatically trigger your roller skates, and it was a mess. I didn't care for it. But so I have her here roller skating through what was supposed to be Lumio City with her furfrau, and they're troublemakers in this sort of city. Her mother is sort of high class and well known because of her clout of being a famous contester. I really wish I could remember the word. I kind of want to Google it, but I don't want to do that in the middle of recording. I don't want to stop recording. So anyway, her mother is kind of famous for being, in contests and having famous Pokemon, and her father was obviously very famous for being him and doing what he does, and she's just sort of like a black sheep. Another quirk about her is you'll see me draw her with black hair and draw her in dark clothing. She actually was born with pink hair. Her mother has pink hair, but because she's kind of in this rebellious, teenage phase, she just dyes it black. Because in the original character design, she was like a clone of her mother, just sort of that, and in this one I sort of wanted to make her similar but different. So her natural hair color is pink like her mother's, and she has her father's eyes, but she dyes her hair black, just like, again, for that sort of rebellious phase. I think you'll be seeing me shift here into Photoshop really quick. There we go. I'm back in Old Faithful here, doing my finishing touches on the colors, making everything look cohesive and not just blue and gross. But like I said, this piece was a time trial for me. I needed something. Like, I don't have any videos in reserve right now, which is really frustrating for me. But so it's good. I like it. I especially like how I drew Furfrou, because I don't draw Pokemon or dog-like creatures a lot, and it was really weird to take a dog reference picture and make it into a dog Pokemon. Like, the conversion was a little bit weird, but I'm really happy with how he came out. In the game and in the story, her Furfrou's name is Lancelot, because she has a thing for sort of princes and princesses, and that's sort of the theme of the region of Kalos, not story-wise, but you see a lot of castles, and they talk about like knights and stuff a lot. So that's sort of the theme I went to with her Pokemon, and Lancelot is her Furfrou. And I don't remember the other teammates. I finished the game with her, so she has other team members, but I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. But when I started playing her, for some reason this Furfrou really stuck out, so I wanted to make it an essential part of her story. So we should be shifting into the final piece here. If you like what you see, don't forget to click that like button. You can subscribe. If you want to get notified whenever I post a video, which is every single week, you can click that little ring-a-ling bell there. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye!